Hey guys, it's Dave here, and it's time for another batch of Pikmin theories. We will be covering 3 theories today: how time works in the world of Pikmin, PNF-404 and its workings, and stuff about the captains. Okay, now that we got those established, let's go to the very first one. How does time work in the world of Pikmin? In Pikmin 2, PNF-404 appears a little different than it is in Pikmin 1. Also, in Pikmin 2, after you return with the President, there appears to be no change at all to the planet, aside from Louis being lost. How does that work? Furthermore, in Pikmin 3, the planet has aged rapidly, and the entire continental geography is different. But Olimar is still alive and well, looking the same as past games. How in the world, does this add up? Usually, the answer is just Nintendo logic. However, I think I have a better answer. Okay, as you can see by this diagram, I drew up Hocotate and PNF-404. Okay, here goes nothing. In Pikmin 1, the dolphin leaves for an interstellar vacation, and in doing so, it makes a wormhole using the Kronos reactor. As this wormhole is created, the Kronos reactor utilizes a large amount of energy from around Hocotate and around PNF-404, the destination. This energy makes the time warp take about a day. However, to Olimar, or whoever else is inside of the ship at any given time, it probably takes less than a few seconds. Olimar ventures through the wormhole and lands with a crash on PNF-404. He repairs his ship and heads home. Simple enough, right? Okay, here's where it gets complicated. In Pikmin 2's opening, the dolphin is sold by the President for money. This is replaced by the Hocotation ship, which instead makes a new wormhole, being unable to pass through the old one as it is a different machine and a different Kronos reactor. This Kronos reactor takes more energy around Hocotate and more energy around Earth. In doing so, Earth, where primarily the energy for the wormhole is generated for it is the destination, is taken away and accelerates the planet rapidly. This causes aging to be locked in the dimension of Earth alone. For example, Hocotate would not age more than a day, but the Earth would age a couple hundred years. Of course, when this happens, the wormhole is re-established, now being registered to the Hocotation ship. So when Olimar goes home, forgets Louis, takes the President, heads back, once again refines Louis, and then finally heads back to his home again, there is no time change, aside from a couple of days, because the wormhole is finally stable with the Hocotation ship. Okay, so our 3 Hocotation explorers are finally home. Now, that brings us to Pikmin 3. Kopai. Kopai sends out Drake, a ship designed to bring 3 intrepid explorers to a planet in search of food. However, upon making the wormhole, Drake's Kronos reactor, the warp key drive, requires so much energy that it already takes from the unstable field around Earth. This causes Earth to accelerate rapidly in the timeline as Drake passes through the fabric of the second wormhole. This is why the planet is aged rapidly in Pikmin 3. Also, because the Earth is substantially larger than Kopai and Hocotate combined, the mass accelerates at a faster pace, making it so Earth has gone millions of years. Now, you may ask, where does Olimar fit into this? Why isn't he on the planet at a later time? It's very simple. What if Drake and the Hocotate ship were making their wormholes about exactly the same time? This way, when they passed through the fabric of each other's wormholes, they arrived around the same time in the planet's history. This would also explain why Hocotate's ship arrives a little bit after Drake's crash, but not too far. Also, since the Hocotation ship has already taken energy from around PNF-404 and it is registered inside of the Kronos reactor, it would have no problem passing back and forth, aside from about an hour delay. This would also fit it into the Pikmin 3 timeline. If you don't believe me, Nintendo logic, I'm trying to work with that here. Please, if you have anything better, tell me. I need to hear it. Anyway, At the end of Pikmin 3, I'm not going to say why, but Olimar hitches a ride back to Kopai with Drake. Perhaps the Hokotation ship doesn't lift off. Perhaps something happened. Perhaps Olimar lost his warp key drive. Maybe he's going in for repairs. Or maybe he's done with Hokotate Free. Maybe he wants to interview the Kopaians about their journey with the Pikmin. I don't want to spoil anything, so I won't tell you what happens. But I will say this. It's entirely probable that the Kopaians drop off their food, go deliver Olimar home, and then finally go back to their original planet, Kopai, and take a well-deserved rest. This would complete the theory of timeline and why Earth accelerates, as well as allowing for some DLC. You see, the wormhole and fabric of space-time continuum is very weak around PNF-404. If some explorer were to, say, input the coordinates of a wormhole wrong, he could end up in the residual field of the energy missing from PNF-404, and by result, be warped there by accident, and have a crash landing. Who knows? Maybe a unfortunate Hokotation explorer will end up on the planet because he misprojected his ship. Maybe a new Hokotate employee will also screw up once again, leading to an interesting DLC. Or maybe we could say something else. Maybe somebody was orbiting around PNF-404 and was just sucked in. Maybe it's that pesky meteorite again. I don't know. But soon, time will tell. But anyway, on to another theory. This is a circle, but it's not just any circle. It is Earth, where you reside currently. Say hello to yourself. Anyway, Earth is on an axis that allows it to spin. However, in the Pikmin universe, Earth doesn't spin normally. I believe Earth is off its axis. This would explain why days are much shorter, as if the Earth was off its axis, it could spin at a faster rate, which explains why days go from 24 hours to 13 minutes and 24 seconds. Also, if the poles were out of alignment as well, this would cause the Earth to have sporadic seasons, such as certain places being splotchy. It could be winter in one forest and summer in another. Also, if the Earth's magnetic field is thrown off, this would be also in relation to the poles and seasons. But now to delve into that theory, the magnetic field. You see, Earth has many layers, the very last layer being the core, and the very first layer being the crust and the surface. You see, a magnetic field emanates from the core around the poles, and this emanation allows for certain magnetic fields to be used on Earth, like GPSs or compasses. But if the magnetic field got too strong, the crust and the core would be both affected. You see, the crust, the deeper you got, the more magnetic it would become, the more strong. In Pikmin, this is used as a plot device. As you can see by this little graph, the surface, where the cave is first found, is green. There's not a strong magnetic field there, and days normally pass normally. But in the Pikmin universe, the deeper you go, the more time slows down, at least in Pikmin 3. In Pikmin 2, it was always just stopped, but in Pikmin 3, it is fixed by this Nintendo logic error. Simply enough, the deeper you get into the core of the Earth, the crust that is, the higher the magnetic field intensifies, making it so time goes slower and slower until going to a dreading halt. This would also explain why the ship says this in the instruction manual of Pikmin 2. Now you can ask, what caused this? Was it a nuclear war? A catastrophe of sorts from the sky? What killed off humans? And why are there no more? Also, how does this explain the Pikmin? They are obviously intelligent. Are they a product of nuclear radiation? Who knows? Honestly, most theories say they are simply animal and plant equals Pikmin. But I believe they are more than this. I believe they are mobile protist appendages. Basically, the onion is the mothership, but also it is the true creature. The Pikmin are merely vessels designed to carry food and objects back, nourishment for the onion. Also, in nature, protists are specialized beings. They each have different roles and jobs, also different abilities, much like the Pikmin themselves. Oddly enough, the Japanese website for Pikmin 3 uses the word protist to describe both the Pikmin and the creatures found on the planet. like bulb orbs, for example. This is an odd but strangely helpful connection. Many of you ask me, wait a second, why do the onions produce more seeds if the pellet is the right color as the onion? Very simple. You see, I think the pellets are concentrations of nutrients, and when the onion actually sucks up something, it is not directly absorbed. I believe the flour spinning on the top is symbolic of it grinding it down into juice. This juice, if it is already matching the nutrient type of the Pikmin, creates more because there is no conversion process. This explains why creatures with huge masses like the sand-belching mirror slug or the giant bulb orb types only produce a very small number of Pikmin. Also, the Pikmin 3 onion has juice swirling around inside of it. It also reflects what colors you currently have inside of the onion, which is another cementing factor to this theory. Okay, now to Earth, a little bit furthermore. The Geiger counter is a ship part in Pikmin 1. This ship part is used in real life to measure radiation, and because the Geiger counter is ticking wildly and sometimes goes out of control, this leads me to believe the Earth is covered in radiation. Does this mean the Pikmin are radioactive? Possibly. But Nintendo logic, I don't know. If a planet was truly covered in radiation, everything would be indistinguishable. Plants, every single one of them, would appear different. Nothing would look the same, except for land masses and water. Nintendo logic, I can't help you in that one. Okay, that's enough about PNF-404 and time travel. Now let's move on to the subjects of these two objects, the captains themselves. Olimar in the first game has to serve three roles. He serves the role of engineer, to repair his ship, captain, to pilot it, and botanist, as he discovers and studies the Pikmin types and the creatures on the planet. This sounds familiar. Who else do we know who is an engineer, who is a captain, and who is a botanist? Interesting connection. Also, if you take the three captains in Pikmin 3's colors and dilute them down, you end up with three colors: red, green, and blue, representing the RGB scale of colors. This scale is used by modern technology to represent all the colors in certain combinations. Strangely enough, the RGB scale can almost color any color of the Pikmin, making it very fitting that these three captains would control and command the Pikmin. Also, in Pikmin 1 and 2, the captain's whistles are multicolor, also cementing the RGB single captain color theory, that every single captain has some sort of authoritative command to control every Pikmin. Okay, so we've covered three theories so far: how time works, PNF-404 and its workings, and the captains. But I want to cover one more. Also, Olimar, this little Olimar Drew, can finally go home and see his family again. He collected all 30 ship parts. I suggest you do the same. Okay. Why to attack the eye? Don't attack my eye. Let me explain this one. You see, I think the eyes of a bulborb, or any bulborb family, such as red bugs or other creatures, can see in heat signatures. For example, darker colors appear for lower things in the heat signature spectrum, and brighter colors appear for hotter things in the heat color spectrum. This would explain why, at sunset, they are fierce predators. They can see better, as when the sunset happens, the Earth gets colder, and life forms that create heat are more visible against the dark spectrum of a background of a cold Earth. This would explain why, at sunset, your Pikmin are always guaranteed to be eaten. You see, by this example I drew up, this is how a bulborb would see, in my theory, during the day. The Pikmin is kind of hard to distinguish from the background at a distance. However, when you get a little bit closer, it becomes easier. This is how it would see at sunset, based on my theory. The Pikmin is clearly visible against the background, and we have no time hunting it down and eating it. Furthermore, clovers in Pikmin 3 are able to mask Pikmin from bulborb family members. What if the clovers have a heat signature that is so low that the Pikmin are masked by it instantly, leaving the bulborbs confused and basically blind to the Pikmin? Also, it could just be as simple as The eye is for vision, and vision allows sight. This explains why when a bulwarp can see you, it can eat you. But if it cannot see, it cannot eat you, cannot attack. This explains why in Pikmin 3, if it is attacked in the eyes, it loses all sense of visibility and is basically helpless from your Pikmin army. Anyway, this theory is kind of gotten long enough. I think it's time to end this. So, thank you for watching. I'm sure I'll make more videos in the future, probably some tablet drawing-based ones, but I'll primarily stick to basic imagery and theory stuff like usual. So, once in a blue moon you'll see theories like this, with the cool little doodles and the lame representations of space and stuff. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sorry if my voice sounds funny. I've been getting a lot of comments like that. This is just so I sound. If I were to talk normally, I would sound basically like this, and that's not a smart idea because I won't take any breaks in pausing or talking or anything. So I talk at a slower pace so my entire audience can understand me just fine, or at least try to, and so everyone can get my message. If you don't like it, or if you don't like me, don't watch it. Just go away or something. Go watch another video. I don't care. Go watch Daz's videos. Those are really cool. Anyway, thank you for watching, and take care.